Today what we're going to do is to start making changes in the algebraic way we write down functions. But we're going to try to do this without specific formulas. So we're going to be doing this with data and with graphs so that when we draw good conclusions, we'll see how everything's connected eventually. In this video, what we're going to do is just do it numerically and then move graphically. So what we're actually starting with here, you can see over here that I have a little small bit of data. It's in black. This is the one that's actually given in the Canvas web page. Now you can see I have some numbers up here in red. Those are the ones I'm going to use eventually, but I'm not using them right away. So they're giving us a table. So for example, I can see that when you plug -3 into the function, you get 4. So f of -3 is 4, f of -2 is 10, f of -1 is 14, and so on. Now I'm going to look at this next column. They want me to fill in as much of this column as I absolutely can. Now remembering that we actually always try to read math from the inside out, I'm just going to look at what this says right here. This says take whatever is in the f of x column and add 2. That's as hard as it gets. So I'm just going to go over here, and for each entry I'm just going to add 2. Hopefully that's a 6. No, hold on. There's a 6. Good. And a 12, and a 16, and an 18, and a 19, and a 17, and a 15. Yay, so that was pretty easy. Didn't use the red ones yet. Gonna go to the next column. This tells me take whatever's in the y column and subtract 3. Well, the y column is still over here. So right here, I'm going to put 4 minus 1, which is, 4 minus 3, which is 1, and 10 minus 3, which is 7, 14 minus 3, which is 11, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. Let's go to the next one. This is the one where people start to get a little confused. Remember, we start from the inside and work our way out. When I look at this function, the inside is actually x plus 2. So that's saying don't look at the y column yet. It says whatever the x is, add 2 to it first, and then try to find the y value. So I'm going to sit in my spot. Over here, I can see that x is -3, and the first thing I'm supposed to do to it is add 2. Well, if I add 2 to it, I'm going to get -1. So what this really is asking me over here is find f of -1, and according to my table, f of -1 is 14, but it goes in this spot right here. So what did I remember I did? I took -3, I added 2 and got -1. I went to -1 and got the y value there. Let's do it again in the next spot. It says take the x value, which is -2, add 2, which is 0, it's over here, and then whatever the y value was at 0, put that in there. So you can see over here, I'm going to get 16. Now you can see that each of these numbers is just this column shifted. Let's do this one more time. I go to -1, I add 2, I get 1, I plug in 1, I get 14. No, I get 17, like that. And similarly, I'm going to get that and 13. Now when I try to do this with 2, right, I'm supposed to take the x value 2, plug it in, and get 4, but there is no f of 4 for me to read, so I cannot fill in this spot. So you can see that the original set of x values is going to be different than my new set of x values, which is kind of weird. On the other hand, I can now plug in -4. That's the spot right here. Because when I take -4 and add 2, I get -2. And according to my original table, f of -2 is 10. So I get 10 like right there. And I can also plug in -5. Because when I take -5 and add 2, I get -3. And according to my original table, f of -3 is 4. So I'm going to get something that looks like that. And you can see that I'm getting the exact same set of y values as I did before, but they've been shifted. They've been shifted. We'll discuss about which way we want to shift. Usually when I'm doing these, I plug in that first number and just see where it goes, and that way I can see the shift. Now I want to look at the next one. I'm going to get, what do I want to do? I'm going to take my original x value. This is where I want to spot, because that's actually where my original x values start. This says, take x and subtract 3. Well, that's going to give me -6. So this is actually asking for, at the moment, f of -6. But when I go over to minus 6, there is no x, y value available there. So I can't do that one. When I go to the next spot, I take minus 2 and plug it in for x. I get minus 3. I'm looking for f of minus 5. But f of minus 5, still not available. So I'm going to go over here, go to the next spot, f of minus 1. Well, according to this, I'm supposed to take the minus 1, subtract 1 to get minus 4. And I'm supposed to be looking for f of minus 4. But when I go over to minus 4 and look in the f column, there's nothing there. So I still can't do this one. That one's out. I'm now going to try to plug in 0 into this function. When I put in a 0 here, I get f of minus 3. And finally, f of minus 3 is actually available from the f column. So that is going to be a 4. When I try to plug in 1 into this function, I take 1, I subtract 3, I get minus 2. F of minus 2 is 10. And so I get that. And you can see I'm going to start running through. I'm going to get all those numbers again, but started in a different spot. So this is going to be 14, this is going to be 16, this is going to be 17, this is going to be 15, this is going to be 13. And you can see I promise you, you'd be using these red numbers. You can see that when you change the expression inside the function, you change the x values you're using. When you change the expression outside the function, you don't change the x values, you only change the y values. In the next little video, we're going to take these numbers and put them on a graph and see what happens.